From the heart of the Imperium of man, across a million worlds, a sound never ceases. It is the rhythm of servitude, a low hum that echoes from the great manufactoria of Mars to the hive factories of This is the sound of the Servitors, the uncounted, the forgotten, the silent slaves of humanity's eternal war machine. They are everywhere, yet truly seen by no one. Their forms are as varied as the tasks they perform. Some resemble men, their limbs replaced with tools. Others a little more than mobile engines or living weapon platforms, their flesh fused with steel and circuitry. Their minds are wiped clean, their souls buried under layers of binary code and obedience protocols. To the vast and uncaring Imperium, they are not people. They are instruments, mere extensions of the holy machine. But here's the chilling truth. Every single servitor was once human. Some were criminals, their punishment a fate worse than death. Others were soldiers who failed in their duty, or simply unlucky citizens caught in the grinding gears of imperial justice. It makes no difference. In the cold calculus of the Imperium, the flesh of man is just another raw material, and the machine is the ultimate salvation. The transformation from person to thing begins in a sterile, silent chamber. A condemned soul is brought before a tech priest of the Adeptus Mechanicus. Their fate already sealed. They are stripped of their name, their rank, their past. They are even stripped of their sins. For sin requires a mind to comprehend it, and soon that mind will be gone. Electrodes pierce the skull. The brain is meticulously mapped, then sliced and rewritten. One neuron at a time. Memories of family, of love, of a life, lived are flensed away like rust scraped from old metal. The body is broken, and then limbs are amputated and replaced with worry pistons and hydraulic claws. Eyes are gouged out and supplanted with optical lenses. Flesh is grafted onto unfeeling steel. When the process finally ends, what remains is trapped in a state between life and death. The body still breathes. The heart still pumps. But the person who once inhabited it is gone forever, overwritten by programming chance and binary hint. The servitor opens its new eyes and sees nothing but the task before it. It obeys. Its new life, a life of endless function, begins. In the vast manufactoria, servitors toil endlessly. They stand at assembly lines that stretch for kilometers, welding, hammering, and forging without a single pause. Their hands are impossibly steady, their backs forever bent in eternal labor. Hot sparks rain down on their synthetic skin, burning them without reaction. They do not tire, they do not rest, and crucially, they cannot rebel. Out in the cold void, aboard the colossal warships of the Imperial Navy, gun servitors stand as living components of the ship itself. They are fused permanently into the vessel's hull, their hearts beating in rhythm with the ship's ancient machine spirit. When the order to fire comes, they act instantly. Their bodies tremble violently with the recoil of weapons that would tear a normal man apart. Their nerves are seared by raw energy, but they never, ever falter. In the towering cathedrals of the Mechanicus, servitors hang from ceilings like grotesque puppets, their limbs replaced by a myriad of specialized tools. Their moods now fitted with vox grills, endlessly recite litanies of maintenance and praise to the Omnissiah. They are priests who cannot truly pray, workers who cannot think, slaves who cannot even die. And yet, beneath all this cold, hardwired obedience, something seems to linger. There are stories, whispered in the dark corners of the forged temples by tech adepts who have spent too long beside the same silent, toiling machine flesh. They speak of servitors who, for a split second, hesitate. Servitors who are seen looking at their own metallic hands, as if trying to remember something long lost. A name, a face, a life. One such tell tales of a servitor on Mars, tasked with welding a hull panel. It stopped. Instead of applying the weld, its tool hand began to trace a crude image onto the metal, a circle, and within it, a smaller one. The symbol of the sun. No one could explain it. The supervising tech priests swiftly declared it an aberration, erased the drawing, punished the overseer, and purged the servitor's memory banks once more. But for that single, fleeting instant, something undeniably human had looked out from within the machine. The Mechanicus hierarchy claims such anomalies are mere errors in the code, a form of spiritual corrosion they call ghost data. They perform rites of purification, reciting the litany of restoration to erase these phantom glitches. But others whisper that these aren't errors, they are memories, echoes, the last desperate fragments of a human soul, screaming to be heard through a blizzard of static. It is said that a servitor feels no pain, that its flesh has been numbed, its nerves rewired to serve only its designated purpose, and yet those who have stood close during maintenance procedures say otherwise. When a damaged limb is replaced, when living flesh is burned away to fuse with fresh alloy, they claim to hear it. Just beneath the hiss of hydraulics and the whine of machinery, something that sounds unnervingly like a sigh, or perhaps a sob. To the Imperium, this suffering is not only acceptable, it is necessary. In a galaxy defined by endless, brutal war, there is simply no room for compassion or mercy. The great machine of the Imperium must endure, and humanity must feed it with its own blood, sweat, and flesh. The Servitor is the perfect, horrifying expression of that philosophy. Efficient, tireless, and utterly, unthinkingly obedient. It asks no questions. It demands no reward. It will never rebel. And so, the Imperium of man thrives on their backs. Entire hive worlds are constructed by legions of servitor laborers. Void ships, the size of continents, are built and maintained by them. Even the God Emperor's most holy orders, from detecprists of Mars to the dreaded Inquisition itself, rely on this silent, ghostly workforce. The Servitor is the very foundation of the Imperium's continued existence, the ghost labor that keeps it dying, corrupt empire alive for one more day. But every foundation is built on bones. If you could strip away the chanted hymns and the holy rituals, if you could silence the constant clatter of machinery and just listen closely, you might hear it. A faint rhythm beneath the hum, the slow, collective heartbeat of a billion lost souls, still echoing in the grim darkness of the far future. The Imperium calls it progress. The Adeptus Mechanicus calls it efficiency. But perhaps, somewhere deep in the chaotic tides of the warp, the dark gods call it what it truly is: suffering eternal. Because in the 41st millennium, for those who are chosen to serve, there is no merciful death. There is only function. And somewhere, deep inside every single servitor, there remains a fragment of what once was, a flicker of a forgotten memory, a whisper of a stolen self. It cannot speak, it cannot act, it can only feel. And if you were to look into its empty, optical eyes, past the gleaming steel and the complex code, past the programmed devotion and the absolute obedience, you might see it. Just for a moment, the ghost of a person who once begged for death and was denied even that final, simple mercy. The Imperium calls it salvation, but the silent ghost in the machine knows the truth. This is damnation without end. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the dark heart of the 41st millennium. If you enjoyed this exploration, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel for more lore from the worlds of Warhammer. We'll see you in the next one.